What's up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav Show with your host JP with the most always here, ready to roll. Trav, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. You know, we've got Bake showing off, a little bit with the skills competition, winning that. We got Mr. Stoops and Mr. Rouse going at it in the Shrine Bowl, and before we know it, spring football is going to be here. So OU getting the big road win. I know people were trolling me because I was picking on them about free throws, but hey, you got to make free throws. But big 20-point win on the road. Got another big one against UCF this weekend.
Yep.
So yeah, just a good week. The women, bro, Jenny B, man, she's got her squad tuned up. After that big win over Texas, it's been just an onslaught.
Yeah.
Having either the biggest, probably the second biggest regular season win, probably the biggest regular season win in a long damn time, winning over number 2 Kansas State. It's only the second time they've defeated a top 2 AP team. The first was Texas in 2004. I believe that was in the Big 12 championship, though. So, yeah, just the women's team's playing really well. If they had gotten off to a little bit better of a start, I think they'd be talking about like a top 10 team right now, top 15 team. They're certainly playing like one right now. So excited to see how that continues to progress and whatnot. But both basketball teams, man, they've got an opportunity this year to make a little bit of noise.
Yeah, they do, 100%. And that's certainly something we're going to continue to keep an eye on as we go through the offseason. You guys know how it is with OU, specific OU football fans. You know, a lot of times y'all just like talk football, but, obviously Oklahoma has a lot of good sports teams, and Josie does a great job at making sure the sports programs are all running at a high level. Obviously, we know softball's coming up, but, both basketball teams, as Trav said, are doing well. And just wanted to point this out. Joe Dusty, Baker Mayfield said that Stoops just scored a touchdown in the Shrine Bowl. So great for Drake Stoops. And, hopefully, I don't know why he didn't get invited to the Senior Bowl, but hopefully, that's somebody that can make some noise in that game and, going into the NFL draft and, combine pro days, everything like that, that he can, help his stock a little bit because that dude is quintessential OU football and just a football player in general.
Yeah, and Bob was on the Rush today with Teddy and Tyler and talked about them going down there, and he talked a lot about being at the the NFC game, talking to Trent Williams and catching up with him and catching up with George Kittle, who is a Norman guy. His dad knows Bob very well. Yeah, it's going to be weird not to have a Stoops on the sideline, man. Going to be really weird. But wherever he gets drafted, there are going to be so many Drake Stoops jerseys in the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be able to have the word Stoops across their back.
Yeah.
Most popular jersey outside of Baker?
Honestly, probably. I think it's Baker. You can put Stoops up there. Obviously, CD's up there. Just some popularity in terms of the
CD playing for Dallas helps him a lot when it comes to like jersey sales.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, man. So I think this week, something we probably want to do is obviously we know we have recruiting weekend to talk about and dive into. I'd like to talk about Zach Alley as he's gotten on the recruiting trail and just what we think maybe he's actually going to bring to the defensive side of the ball. But I think this is a show where we let the chat ride this one. But we gotta be honest, Trav. Last week was a little light. It was a little light. We wonder where all our people went. We missed 1 week, and that was my fault. I was coaching. I'm over here having a historic season for my school. First 21 season, 10 years. So like, y'all gotta give me some slack. You feel me? Like, help us get some more people in here. I just joking. We know it's the off season, and things are crazy. We have a lot to talk about. It can be what it is, but
Yeah,
just
people are all busy getting that second job so they can give all their money to Crimson Cream NIL.
that's right.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
I'm convinced of it. But yeah, it's off season. Numbers always dip in the off season, but we're glad those of you that are here. Really appreciate you guys. I will be, of course, dipping into the Righteous Felon beef jerky here a little bit later. I picked a weird flavor this week, a really weird flavor. I'm interested in trying it. There's no doubt, but yeah, I mean, the winter workouts are starting, man, and the young kids are there. Oh, hey, Mrs. Posey,
my beautiful wife, ladies and gentlemen.
man.
Hi.
We just shot down the best looking rankings on the JP and Trav show when she walked on screen.
Maybe I'll get more people in here. I don't know.
Maybe there you go.
Whatever
There you
works.
go.
Whatever works.
Shameless.
Yes.
But yeah, winter workout started. This is when you start hearing. You only hear the good things, right? You hear, oh man, this guy's shining. Man, he's really focused. He's this, that. You never hear who's stinking it up.
Yeah.
But obviously, some of the early returns, everybody obviously saying Jackson looks great. Jake Sexton looks fully healthy. The conversation about the team in January and even the first day of February, I think it's largely useless as long as it's not like I think it's injury stuff that stands out to me most. And so far, we haven't heard anything about any injuries, which is good. Just get through injury free, get through drama free, no pistol whippings, no drug deals gone bad, no whatever else has happened in the offseason. No, coaches leaving, no coaches retiring out of nowhere. None of that. Just nice, easy, smooth transition into the SEC.
Trav, let's take a second. You mentioned that. I want everybody who's in here right now in the chat, where were you when you heard about that whole robbery gone wrong a few years back?
I'm trying to think where I was. I know. I'm chronically on Twitter, so I'm sure I was on it at the time. But man, where were you?
I remember I was in what month was that even? Was that in April? That was before the spring game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was before spring.
It may have been February. I remember I was at work, and I had people texting me, and they were like, "Yo, did you see what happened?" And I was like, "Nah, what's going on?" I went over to formerly Twitter, now known as X.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking about this earlier today. Okay. I will never call, sorry, Elon, but I will never call Twitter X.
Yeah.
Because if I say I'm on Twitter, nobody living right now doesn't understand what I mean. There's not a living person. The billions upon billions of people. Not a single living person that doesn't know what I'm talking about. And the problem is, everybody says, Twitter, X. And we waste all that time. We just be saying Twitter. I tweeted it. It's on Twitter.
Yeah.
How long are we going to play this charade into thinking that X is going to catch on? X is never going to catch on. It's just Twitter. Exactly. It could be 10 years from now. Nobody is going to be is going to say, "Wait, you did it on what's Twitter?"
Yeah.
So, anyways, sorry to interrupt, but I was thinking about that today. I'm like, can we stop with this X charade?
You're good, fam. No, I
It's
mean,
not. We nobody's gonna call it. Just call it. We can all just call it Twitter.
let's just be
Just
honest.
like it's the Red River Shootout.
Yep.
Like, I mean, go ahead. It just cracks me up.
No, but I remember being like, are we serious right now? Like with everybody who was involved, like Seth, Trajan Bridges, like the fact that Trajan had already been on thin ice and he ended up being in that position. And then like obviously Trajan hurt, obviously Seth hurt, but like what we saw in flashes from Mikey Henderson, that was when I was like, dang, like, and that one came out later, right?
I think it wasn't it? I think all of it was post spring because didn't everybody say Trajan Bridges was like the best player on
Yes,
the team in
It
spring?
was post spring game. You're absolutely right.
Because everybody was like, yeah, it was May of 2021. So it was, yeah, because everybody was like, Trajan Bridges, man, he's come back with a vengeance. He's the best receiver on the team. He's unguardable. His hands are crazy. His speed is crazy. And everybody was like, finally, here we go. And in the summer, in May, word comes down. Yeah, because it was post spring.
This hurt. It was just like, what are we doing here? That's what I remember. I mean, that's the equivalent of like Jaquez Petaway, Javante Barnes, and I don't want to say Davon Mitchell because obviously he's a little bit more highly touted than Mikey was, but just like
Maybe like Xavier Robinson or something like that.
something like that. Yeah, like all of them just gone. Like it was a wild time in student history, but thankfully we're beyond that. Don't think we'll, more
We
than
should have got a
likely
real
we'll
Lincoln
have
right
those
then.
problems.
What were we thinking?
Oh yeah, I mean that should have been a key indicator. But yeah, let's go ahead and try to get into a little bit of the last weekend when we had, Sooners had a couple big visits here, and so what do you know about them? Before we do that, real quick, I'm gonna do this because Trav, he's got his jerky, his snacks with him today. I got a classic can of Coors Light because I'm in Denver, Colorado right now, so it's only right. I was up in the Rockies snowmobiling earlier today, and I'm going to the Coors brewery tomorrow. So we're gonna
man,
roll one with y'all today in
got
Colorado.
the good can pop and everything. The mountains are blue.
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Trevor.
love it, man. I'm here born with my water. I'll have my snacks. I'll talk about those in a minute. But JP drinking a beer with us. I love to see it. But yeah, the visits. I mean, they went well. Obviously, you started to see Torrey Blaylock all over Twitter. His dad played in the NFL at running back for the Jets and the Chiefs. I believe 5 years in the NFL. It was like early mid 2000s when he was there, and he's got a kid that is a stud. One of the Texas publications has him as the number one running back in the state of Texas, and there's some studs as always in the state of Texas. And we're not going to take a lot of running backs. Might only take one. So get him on board. I think just how active he and his dad are on social media, and both of his brothers play D1 as well. Both of them are safeties. It's kind of like it's not too dissimilar to a Mike Hawkins situation, where like Mike Hawkins Sr. played corner in the league. His oldest son plays on the other side of the ball, quarterback, and then Malik followed in his father's footsteps and plays corner. It's very similar with Derek Blaylock. Derek played running back. His older two boys went to go play on the other side of the ball, and then the youngest son is following in his father's footsteps. So, Yeah, I mean, that's looking very good. I think the biggest visit of the weekend is maybe the visit that went the best of the weekend, and that's
Mhm.
Jonah Williams. I was able to watch him at OT7 last May, I think it was, when I was down there, last May or last June. And that was before he really started to shoot up the rankings. And had a big time event at the regional OT7. And I remember Parker telling me, like, that's a guy who use after for sure. So I started getting to know him more. And obviously, he's a big time baseball player, too.
Yeah.
I was told that he is like Deion Sanders on a baseball diamond. So for those of you that paid attention last cycle, Taylor Tatum, right? Two Sport U. James Nesta, 2 Sport U. If they're able to round out and get Jonah in this class, they will have gotten 4-star linebacker, 5-star running back, and top running back in the country, and 5-star safety, with baseball being a very large part of the recruitment. And they're after another kid named Alec Blair that's a very high level baseball and basketball player. He's got offers from all over. So, I mean, baseball, man, that's they know what they're doing over there. And I'll tell you what, they're gonna have a squad this year. So go out and support them. They've got their home opener my birthday weekend, so I've got plans with the family and everything like that here in Tulsa. Otherwise, I'd certainly be there. I might try and make it down there for maybe the second game. But, it starts late next month. Baseball does. Jackson Nicholas told me, and one of the coaches told me, hey, look, this is the best team that we've had in a long time. Jackson said it's the best team that he's been on. And keep in mind, Jackson Nicholas was on the team that played for the national championship in Omaha in the championship series. And he says this team's better than that team. So, it's albeit a ton of the games. They killed it in the transfer portal. They've got, guys like John Spikerman and Jackson Nicholas to really be kind of the veterans. They've kind of seen it all now. They've been to Omaha. They've done it. So, yeah, it's the baseball team's going to be great. And no, Love's Field is not being shared with the baseball team. They're completely different dimensions. Yep. So you can't really do that all that easily. So that's why the reason that's why the Women's College World Series is in Oklahoma City, is because you would have to retrofit baseball fields.
Yep.
Otherwise. So that's why Oklahoma City invested the money decades ago in order to build the premier softball stadium. But yeah, Lowe's Field, scoreboard's up. It's a race to the finish. So softball, five unanimous All-American, or 5 first-team All-Americans, unanimous number 1 team. Spring sports are a real good time in Norman, Oklahoma. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Baseball should host a regional at minimum this year. Softball is the death machine that it is.
Literally.
The evil empire, as it's been coined. Yeah. Gymnastics going for their third straight. Yeah. It's big time. Basketball wrapping up in the spring for both men and women. If Porter can keep it going, like I said, spring is going to be a good time. If you live anywhere in the 405, I hope to see you at some of those games, because I will definitely be driving down the Kickapoo to get there. But the visits went well. You start to see some of these March 9th visitors come up. Keep an eye on guys that are coming back. Guys that were at the initial Elite Junior Day and then are coming back March 9th. That might give you a little bit of a hint as to who might be committing that day. because I know of one in particular that at least the initial plan is to make an announcement somewhere around that date on defense.
Yeah.
Not Jonah. I'm not sure when Jonah wants to commit to his schools. I'm not sure of other visits he's taking. I'm not sure he's taking any other visits, to be honest.
He's 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the, I believe, number 7 player in the country.
Okay.
Absolute star safety. I mean, getting Peyton Bowen and Jonah Williams in the same secondary, going to be nasty.
Yeah.
If you get Jonah Williams, of course.
Yeah.
I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but I personally like where we're at with Jonah Williams big time. But it's college football recruiting, man. How many times, JP, have we felt good about something?
A lot.
A lot.
Enough.
I'm ready. Hey, but you know what? I'm ready to be heard again. I'm ready to be heard again. And it would hurt if Jonah Williams went elsewhere because the dude's, like I said, bona fide stud, and it's going to be a smaller class, so it is possible that the class is done before the season starts, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because so many guys like to take visits during the season. They like to announce with their football team. Like, I mean, these spots are going to be taken really quickly. And that's what you keep hearing about a lot of these guys is, it's going to come down to timeline. It's going to come down to timeline because we're not taking 29 kids in this class. We're taking probably 22. And that's not very many. And we've already got, 9 in the class already?
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to say 9. Oh, the 2024 class. I was like, we don't have 28 commits. All right, so we have, 9 commitments. Only 2 of them are 4 stars right now. That's going to change significantly.
Yeah.
I think Trinae probably gets bumped up. I think Kevin Sperry gets bumped up. Kamari Moore with the weight. So what?
You think Sperry will be a 5 before it's all said and done?
Maybe. I mean, it depends on the rest of the class. I mean, you've only got 1 5-star theoretically right now, technically in Bryce Underwood, but he's the number 1 player in the country.
Yeah.
But they have the number 9 player in the country, the Tennessee quarterback commit, as a 4-star. So they're weird. They don't get to their final until their last update. But he's ranked as the 31st quarterback right now. There aren't 30 quarterbacks better than Kevin Sperry. I promise you that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because the second ranked quarterback in the 2025 class is committed to Tennessee. What's going on with Tennessee?
Yeah.
They gonna have sanctions?
What's coming down the pipeline? We don't know.
Are they gonna are they suing the NCAA so they don't have sanctions? Iowa self-reported today about the Caden Proctor, communication because he told on himself in an interview. Did you see that interview?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
He said Iowa reached out to him in the middle of the year.
That's nuts.
Caden, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you doing? I'm sure they were hot.
I cannot imagine being whoever.
Yeah.
Any Iowa coach, Iowa AD, whoever, that when they saw that video thought, damn it, I guess we got to self-report now because the evidence is right there.
Yep, there's nothing we can say or do. It's clear as day.
But the thing is, I mean, what's going to happen? Nothing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're going to hold him out. They self-reported.
Yeah.
But
right.
but the question was interesting. It was brought up on air yesterday because obviously the Boston College coach,
Mhm.
right, is going to coach the Green Bay Packers, which I've said on Twitter, that's good news for Oklahoma. Because if Jim Leonard would have got that job, and he was rumored as a candidate because he coached at Wisconsin, brilliant defensive mind, well-respected nationally. If he would have got that job in the state of Wisconsin in Green Bay, defensive coordinator, his first call would have been to Jay Valai, one of his close friends. And we would have had to make sure Jay Valai did not leave Oklahoma for the frozen tundra of Green Bay, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
which, being a Vikings fan, I don't know anybody in their right mind that would leave OU to go to that hellhole. But I digress. With Jim Leonard not getting that job, Jay Valai seems to be safe in Norman for now. But, I mean, yeah, the question is, what coaches could you see making the jump? I think it's the coaches that are trying to cheat. I say trying to cheat. The coaches that are obviously tampering, that are getting in bidding wars, that are the Lane Kiffins of the world.
Yeah.
Even Ryan Day to this point, like those are the guys that look like they jumped to the league. I don't think Oklahoma is in danger of that because I think Brent Venables wants to do things the right way, and I think he wants to prove that doing things the right way is still worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah, which, I know a lot of OU fans, will say that we need to play the big boy game. I think in a sense, we are a little bit, right? That's why we have the collective and everything, Crimson and Cream, right? But I think maybe we talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, or last week, excuse me. I think maybe a piece of the issue with some of the OU fans is like, why am I giving this money if I feel like you're not going to use it anyway? Obviously, yes, some of it will go to the players and like current players we have, but like obviously a lot of the perception, whether it's the reality or not, a lot of the perception is that, all these other schools, Tennessee, Ole Miss, not Alabama necessarily, obviously Saban left and they're getting some pieces, but the schools that are using more of their NIL,
Ohio State,
Mizzou, Ohio State, like, and really three of those schools you look at and you say, there's no way OU should lose out to players theoretically on them, besides maybe Ohio State. But it's like at the end of the day, this is what the game is now. So then we have OU fans that are like, well, if we're not going to play that game for real, why am I going to put in money? Why am I going to do this? And obviously, it's not about that, and we know that. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but at the same time, like I get that. And the other piece is like we're trying to build culture, and it's hard. Like, how do you build culture while also like say I'm going to pay whatever? And essentially, when you just literally offer to pay a dude who was on your freaking team, and he still decided to go elsewhere. Like, how do you think that made the staff feel when Caden Green decided to go to Mizzou? Like, even though it matched what he wanted. Like, so they already were leaning against doing stuff like that for the most part. That's not going to make them want to do it anymore.
Right, and I think that's a blessing in disguise too because they were willing to pay Caden Green a boatload of money, and if he would have said, "Okay, now I'll stay," I think that's exactly what. And don't get it twisted. Caden Green is a really good player, really exciting prospect.
Yes.
OU would have been better on the offensive line next year, theoretically, if he would have come back.
Yes.
I don't want to get it twisted and make it seem like this is sour grapes talking, but it stands to reason that it could have been a negative for the Oklahoma football program holistically if Caden Green came back.
Yeah.
Because you would have had a guy that was getting paid way more than dudes that have played more football at the college level than him, been more productive at the college level than him, that are getting paid based on production and not on potential.
Yeah.
And he would have walked in and everybody would have known how much he made. And then other players would have lined right up at Venable's door and said, "Where's my money? I want to renegotiate my NIL deal, just like Caden Green did.
Yeah.
I want to renegotiate it, just like Caden Green did. Caden Green's dad, Reginald. That's what I want to do. I want to renegotiate because why wouldn't they?" So with Caden Green leaving, I think you're a bit relieved of that. Again, the football team is worse without Caden Green. The football program, the way it all went down, I think is probably better off in the future for not being held hostage by a guy who kept wanting to up the ante. So, again, something I said last week. If you look at the schools like Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee to a certain degree, these are Miami. These are schools that are throwing a lot of money around because their fans think this is how we do it. This is how we catch up. This is how we get trophies in the trophy case. Mizzou football has shown for the last 100 years that if they just trust their own recruiting and developing, they're not going to be worth a damn.
Yeah.
So, of course, they can raise a ton of money. Of course, they can drop big bags because their fans got that little taste of what OU's been, snacking on for the last century. And it's easy to promote that.
Yeah.
Hey, did you like that New Year's Six win? Cool. If you want another one, sign on the dotted line. Give money. If OU goes to a New Year's Six bowl, they say, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. So, it's kind of a catch-22 because it's like, yeah, I mean, we pay NIL. We're not dropping goofy bags or overpaying dudes.
Right.
But part of it is we've got good coaches. We've got good facilities. We've got good leadership. We've got good alignment, as Brent Venable says. We're going to the best conference. I mean, we're set up at quarterback for years to come.
Yeah.
And we got Brent Venables and Zach Alley running the defense. So
Yeah.
I'd say we're in good shape.
Yeah.
I'd say we're in good shape. Thunder OU Sooner. I am snacking on a bit of popcorn, but I need something with a little more sustenance, JP.
You do. What you got?
My folks over at Righteous Felon. And this is the most interesting flavor that I've seen. If you can read it there. A hickory smoke show with a kiss of Chesapeake crab spice.
Ooh.
Righteous Felon beef jerky. So for those of you maybe that are new to the show, Righteous Felon, I got some as a gift. I thought it was delicious. I put it out on social media and they said, hey, Travis, how about we give you a promo code to give to the people on your podcast and the people on your social media? I said, sounds great. So really good stuff. They've got biltong. That's it's like rugby's favorite snack. It's sugar-free. It's like a marinated then dried beef jerky, seasoned and dried beef jerky, but it's not really jerky. Biltong is fantastic. They've got the jerky. They've got the meat sticks. We've got all that. This one, 140 calories, 22 grams of protein in the Maryland Monroe. The only unfortunate thing is that their logo looks like Longhorn. So we
Yeah.
down for that. But needed something with a little more sustenance. So go to righteousfelon.com, righteousfelon.com. Use the code Travis for 15% off. Very simple.
Yeah. You guys see it there? Travis opening his jerky. Just a reminder, please hit that like button. Also comment and share that we are in here. Got about another 25-ish minutes. We're going to open it up to the chat for the rest of the time, what you guys want to talk about and just to engage with you guys. Please, again, continue to let some of your friends know who are interested in OU football, interested in different opinions. Trav and I are not going to sit up here and act like, we're not going to act like OU Insider. We're not going to act like Scoop, and act like we're those guys. And obviously Trav is more up that echelon than even I am, right? But this has always been a fan show and an opinion show, right? Trav can say opinions on here that, he may not be able to always articulate or say potentially elsewhere, right? I can say my opinion as a fan on here, and that's why we've created the base that we have, and that's why you guys keep coming back, is because you like our opinions, you like the way we talk about things, and just to hear those things. Yes, sometimes Trav drops some huge nuggets here and there, right? But ultimately, you guys are here because you want to know what we think, and we appreciate that at the end of the day. So just continue to share, talk to people about the channel. I know we got the East and West Shrine Bowl going on right now, but make sure you hit that like button. And yeah, let's open it up to the chat moving forward. Jeff Elkins has a question. He says, left tackle, right tackle. Are you concerned? What's that going to look like? Trav, I'll let you start with that.
Okay, so Jake Sexton is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know that much. If there's one person that has guaranteed themselves a spot on the offensive line, in my opinion, it's Jacob Sexton. He would have started last year if he wouldn't have injured his ACL in the bowl game prep. So, Jacob Sexton. Now, the question is he right tackle or is he left tackle? If he's left tackle, I think Spencer Brown from Michigan State is probably a right tackle. If he's right tackle, I think Michael Tarquin might get the nod at left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
He's much better on the left than he is the right. That's been established. USC, shocker, didn't play him in the right position. So it depends on, I think Jacob Sexton's spot may depend on if they feel better about Michael Tarquin or if they feel better about Spencer Brown. So, but it's tough because, we talked about needing interior, especially with Caden Green leaving. It's like, all right, what's the interior look like? What's the interior look like? You've got Fabechi from North Texas, who was a freshman All-American. You got Troy Everett, who was a freshman All-American at center. I'd still like to see him play center. You've got now Garen Hatchett, who's played under a Joe Moore Award coach. Played, I think, started 4 games at Washington. He's got, a lot of. He played against Oregon. He played in some big games.
Yeah.
And he's got another year under Biedenbow, or he's got a year under Biedenbow, full year under Biedenbow. So it'll be interesting. And then what about Heath Ozida? What about Jake Taylor? What about BJ Brooks? Eugene Brooks. Eugene goes by BJ Brooks. So if you see Eugene Brooks or BJ Brooks, it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Same guy from Chatsworth, California. So him. What about EPL? EPL's already as strong and as fast as NFL dudes. Stronger and faster than NFL dudes. So, you've got a lot of people there, man. You got Logan Howland, who's been consistent on the scout team, according to Mr. General Booty. So, I'm telling you, man, it's we've got a lot of talent in the room. And my question is, and Jeff, I'd like your opinion. I'd like some of the other opinions in the chat. Les, obviously, got some things to say about the offensive line. What should we even recruit high school anymore? Like, if we don't let them get experience, and instead we opt to get offensive line experience in the portal, like if Jake Taylor would have gone to North Texas instead of OU, he would have started immediately, and he would have got a couple years, and then we would have got him in the portal and said, oh, we got this experienced dude. Well, Jake Taylor's been being coached by Bill Bedenbaugh for 2 years now.
Yeah.
He's on the team. So I think what a lot of people forget about that Joe Moore Award offensive line that we had, those guys had played together for years. They were a cohesive unit. They were brought together by a truly special Creed Humphrey, but like those guys had played together for a long time. So you don't need the wide receiver core to stay, for 3 years together, right? You don't need the cornerbacks to stay for 3 years together, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need that offensive line to stay together. So I think it's a situation where it's the only position where I would probably ideally stop taking guys out of the portal at some point and just trust your evaluation and start playing these high school guys. Maybe not as true freshmen, but I mean, Jake Taylor's going into year 3. Jacob Sexton's going into year 3. I mean, like, play those guys. See what happens. You're going to have to let them – I think what we're falling into right now is, like, we're getting the equivalent of, like, a Harvard law grad, and we just hired them, or we're interviewing them for our law firm.
Yeah.
And we don't hire them because they don't have any experience. But they're not getting experience because we're not hiring them. How are they supposed to get experience? Are they supposed to go work somewhere where they're overqualified for?
Yeah.
And get experience there and then come to us? What's the point of signing highly rated kids then anyways? So I think, and there's nobody that's more qualified to figure it out than Bill Bedenbaugh, don't get me wrong. But I just think at a certain point, you've got to trust the guys that you evaluated out of high school and develop them, and then let them get their lumps. Let them get their – I mean, I don't think they're just going to stink. Like, let them get better together. Let them get beat from time to time. That's what happened 2016, 2017.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what people's main gripe is at this point about Bill Bedenbaugh, though, right? Is, they feel like he doesn't get the high school guys, the high level high school guys, in their opinion, the high stars. And then, even the high stars he has gotten, it doesn't seem that they panned out, a la Savion Byrd, a la Caden Green that just left, who was the other offensive tackle that went to SMU last year?
Anderson.
Yeah, and Anderson, like different things like that, like all highly rated recruits that just did not pan out or seem to pan out. And some of that is just, I don't know. It's hard to really put a pin in that, because at the end of the day, like, that's not abnormal. Like, you have high star guys that go places and don't pan out. And I think this is my issue with OU fans that will bring that up. Is like, I hear that, and I get that you feel like, well, he hasn't done enough to bolster our rank for offensive line. But when the transfer portal is a thing, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but it matters a hell of a lot less than it has in years past. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I hear your point at 100%, but obviously, the fan base, I'm sure Brent Venables and Joe C, like, they probably don't want to see the young guys play even the year before we go into the SEC. Because maybe we felt like, hey, we had a chance to win the Big 12, and we did last year. We legitimately did, and probably should have, or at least had a chance to. And then obviously you can't theoretically do that this year because it's your first year in the SEC and you need some momentum. And so you use the transfer portal, you get these guys, and again, sorry, I don't want to make this into a necessarily a Bill Bedenbaugh question. I know that the question was about left and right tackle, but like Bill picks these experienced guys up who, yes, while they didn't do a ton at their last stops. Like I hear that, but Bill's more than proven that he can do a lot with guys that didn't do a ton at their last stops. Wanya Morris didn't do a ton at Tennessee. Like he was. Don't get me wrong, he was a second team all conference guy, right? But he was dealing with some injuries and he was called a loafer. Like they didn't know. Bill turned him to a high third round draft pick, and he's playing a ton of snaps for the Kansas City Chiefs right now. Tyler freaking Guyton wasn't even playing at TCU.
That's the best example.
Wasn't even playing at TCU.
He wasn't an offensive lineman. He was a defensive
yeah.
lineman and a tight end.
Yeah. Like comes to OU and is about to go in the first round. Right. So like, why are we thinking that like Bill can't turn these highly experienced guys and shift them into more? And it's because you think about a guy like McKay Matower, you think about a guy like Caleb Schaefer. That's what they're thinking about. And I mean, we even have Troy, who is young and still has time to develop and grow. Troy Everett. So like I think that's why I get frustrated is because I understand where people come with the high school thing, but like the transfer portal is a thing. And you get so mad about, well, OU's not using it, in our opinion, to the best of their ability. But then they get some guys that will be able to help us, and it's a problem. Now, even though you have who's credited to be one of, if not the best developer of offensive line talent in football, he may not be the best recruiter. I'm not going to stand up on the ledge and scream from the mountaintops that he's the best recruiter, obviously, but it's very possible he's one of, if not the best developers of offensive linemen in the entire nation, and that this is proven by the linemen he sent to the draft, the coaches that constantly talk about how Oklahoma guys are so well coached, namely Andy Reid, who's about to be in another Super Bowl with two offensive linemen from Oklahoma on his line. So, anyways, I digress.
And he had Orlando Brown.
Yeah.
So he's had many. So no, I agree. And I think part of it is because I'm so into recruiting. It's like I'm ready to see our boys play, man.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see the Jakes get out there, man. I'm ready to see Logan Allen and Heath Ozida and Josh Bates and these guys. Like, I'm ready to see these guys get out there and, they've been in the system.
Yeah.
They've been in there with Bedenbaugh every day. I mean, Jake Taylor's red shirt was retained for a reason. Like, they want him. They see a lot of good in him. And I think this 2025 class has a chance to be incredible on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Man, I think you have your 2025 core and your 2024 core. That has to be your starting offensive line in 2026, 2027, and 2028.
Yeah.
And I know those years don't even sound real, but they'll be here before you know it, man.
We all know
they'll be here before you know it.
It's 4 years away. So
Indy's gonna have grandkids by the end of this, right?
Better not. That's happening. Me and Amaya gonna fight. Have y'all heard anything about Justin Harrington's medical appeal and the timetable on that? I have not personally.
I've heard he's gonna get it, but I don't know any details about it. Okay. Like, that's all I've heard is that he's gonna get it. It should be a pretty easy med shirt to get. I mean, but Yeah, I have not. I was told he's going to get it, but again, no details, no timeline. That person could have even been wrong.
Yeah.
They've never been wrong before, but there's a first time for everything.
Yeah. Yep. Sooner Cowboy says, I'm just ready to see Stone Jackson and Okoye go to work. I agree, brother.
God, it's going to be so much fun.
I agree. Hey, what's up with? Can we talk about On3?
I forget it was Locked On, John Williams, well, one of the Locked On guys that broke down every single recruit
Yeah.
and and I think what's his name? Kyle Dahlgren, is it?
Mm-hmm.
He puts out a lot of really good stuff. They both kind of charted where each recruiting service had all the OU recruits. On3 was way low. Like On3 was the lowest on Sooner commits on like 20 out of the 28 recruits. On3 was dead last. Like had them the lowest.
Yeah.
Like I know that Shannon Terry is a big OU homer. I know Texas was one of their first sites that they had, but even Colin Simmons being rated so low was shocking.
Yeah.
Colin Simmons is a dude, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, and it's my theory about Brett Yormark and the officiating. That's what I think about Shannon Terry and On3. I think when you make it abundantly clear what your opinion is on something, I think the people whose paychecks you sign and whose jobs you control going forward tend to mold their thoughts to fit your thoughts. That's why, no, I don't think that there was some conspiracy theory set out by Yormark to make sure that OU and Texas didn't get the calls that they should have got. But I do think those referees know that, hey, our boss has made it very clear that he doesn't want these two teams to win, and I want to continue to be paid by him in the future.
Yeah.
So it's probably a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing going on with Shannon Terry and the On3 folks. He pays those scouts. He says he's not involved in the process, but he pays them. He controls their employment. He's the CEO and founder. So when he puts out on message boards that he thinks David Stone is more of a top 150, top 200 guy, like your people that work for you see that. And he's coming out now and saying, well, we still said he was a 5-star. Don't care, bro. You had him lower than everybody.
Yeah. Come on.
After you were the one in comment section saying, oh, I think he's a top 150 guy. Like, miss me with that, man. I don't know what it is. But again, when you can chart it like that and have On3 be the lowest on OU players in like 20 out of their 28 commits, On3 being the lowest of the 4, like, come on, man. What are we doing? On3 right now they don't have the national scouting resources. They're newer. They're the newest company.
They're new.
They don't have the national scouting network that a lot of these other, like, bro, there's a 247 for every school in the country.
Yep.
OU just got an On3 site whenever Carey took them over from Rivals.
Yep.
Like it's almost like the Athletic. Like the Athletic typically doesn't rate OU highly on stuff because the OU doesn't have a writer for the Athletic.
Yeah.
Because Jason Kersey was him, and then he went to law school, and they haven't filled that position. So it's like when you start looking at, okay, how long has this company been around? Do they have a big national base? All this, that, and the other. It's like, do they have any biases? What are their founding sites? You know, that kind of stuff matters.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's crazy to me that they that they would rate him so lowly. Like it's just not. It's not
Part
fair.
of it is because he made their beef very public.
Yeah. Which hey, if you want to be sensitive about that, then okay.
Right, exactly. He's a kid. They're adults, and not.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a grown kid,
Yeah.
but it's like, I mean, the story is that it all stems from him not going to the On3 NIL summit when he was invited, and then they held that against him. And so somebody else was like, glad to be invited to the On3 NIL summit or whatever. And somebody commented, I forget who it was, but it was funny. They're like, you need to go to that or else Shannon Terry will hold it against you for the rest of your recruitment.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. He's still gonna come over here and eat anyway, so it don't matter.
But that's
All
the
right.
thing. It's like, we got to understand, nothing bad can happen to Shannon Terry over this.
Yeah.
What David Stone goes and balls out?
Yeah.
Cool. He's going to say, well, I had him as a 5-star.
I had him at a 5-star. It means he's going to be a first-round pick. You know.
But if David Stone, for some reason, doesn't pan out like we hope he does,
yeah,
he'll be the first to jump on it. See, On3 was accurate.
We're accurate. I told you he wasn't the best defensive lineman. You know.
I also think David Stone's a pretty damn sure bet.
Yeah.
Personally.
As long as he stays healthy. Okay. Last question. And for everybody in the chat as well. Who do you feel like needs to have the biggest winter that's currently on Oklahoma's roster?
Well, there's a low-hanging fruit. You cannot say Jackson Arnold.
Yes. Yes, you can, obviously. But chat, go ahead and put it in the comments, and I'll throw it up. Who needs to have the biggest winter for OU football?
Who needs to have the biggest winter?
Winter and spring. Throw those together. But
Do you have yours?
I think I do.
Go ahead. Oh, that's a good answer from James.
Seth Luttrell. I mean, yes. I'm thinking about a player, though. Les says
that was good outside the box, though. I like it.
Huh?
That was good outside the box, though. I like it.
Yeah, it was good. I was going to say Peyton Bowen.
Really? Elaborate on that.
I think, obviously, Peyton showed flashes, but I think if he, has a great winter in spring and, can solidify, and obviously I think he was already on his way to doing that, but solidify that position next to Billy Bowman. Can you imagine both of them back there?
But he plays the same position as Billy. He won't.
Do they play? They won't move him over.
No, I think it'll be RSJ. To be honest.
Oh. Damn.
But I think they'll play Peyton at Cheetah. I mean, They did play Peyton at Cheetah. I don't know why I'm saying fair. I think they will. They have played Peyton at Cheetah as a true freshman. So.
Well, even that, just the fact of being able to feel like you have those two guys on the field at the same time.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
That to me is terrifying. With who Billy's always shown himself to be and the flashes that Peyton has shown.
That's going to happen if we can force them into more obvious passing downs, because that's when Peyton Bowen's going to be the cheetah.
Yep.
So that's run defense. That's tackles for loss.
Mm-hmm.
That's sacking the quarterback. That's, knocking down balls. That's, forcing incompletions, getting that into obvious passing downs, and then letting Billy Bowman, the biggest Jim Thorpe Award snub of all time.
Unbelievable, honestly. And
5-star Peyton Bowen back there just ready to hawk whatever comes at him. So a lot of different answers. Let's go through some of these, and then I'll say mine.
Couple Javonte Barnes, Gavin Freeman, Grayson Halton. I was going to say Grayson. I know he's been trying. He's been trying to add that weight, y'all. It just has not been happening. Friend of the show.
For the show. All right, I'm gonna say a player that has been catching some arrows, rightfully so. I will say Jaleel Farouk.
Mm.
He needs it. A lot of these other players, like Javonte Barnes, I think is a really good answer. I think some of the picks are like who we expect to have a good spring.
Yes.
Like Kip. I mean, that's a good answer. It'll be interesting because I really feel like we're going to lose a linebacker in the spring.
Yeah.
Because with Danny back and you have Kobe, Kip, and Jaron fighting for the other starting spot.
Yeah.
And then you still got Lewis Carter, Phil Picciotti, and Sammy Amosigo behind them. Now you bring in James Nesta. It's like, bro, you're having a lot of linebackers real quick.
Got time.
So regardless, Farouk, man, if he doesn't have a good spring, I don't think he's a starter next year.
Yeah.
Andrew was our leading receiver.
Deion
Burke was massive get out of the portal.
Yeah.
Nick Anderson was a freshman All-American. Jaden Gibson might have the best hands on the team now. And he's 6'5" and has a 35-inch vertical. It's gonna be. I mean, Jacquez Petaway is gonna want to get on the field. Zion Kearney is one of those guys that can impact as a freshman. I mean,
isn't it crazy the contrast of the conversation we're having with the wide receiver room at this point now versus what we were talking about at this point last year?
Right.
The wide receiver room was seen as an unknown. Some might have even said a weakness last year going into this last season.
Well, it was definitely an unknown because we didn't have a coach.
Yeah. And now it's almost unquestionably the strongest position group on the team.
Yep.
Besides maybe safety. I feel like you could say that you feel good about the safety.
Super deep. I mean, what do you think's deeper? Safety or linebacker?
Yeah.
You've got an All-American in both.
The linebacker room is deep too.
You've got, again, you have either Kip, Kobe, or Jaron is going to take that other starting spot. I think you could legitimately say any of those three guys, if they win the starting job, I think most people would be confident.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, okay, if that guy beat out the other two guys, start next to Danny, we're in good shape. But then you've got maybe the best linebacker class statistically we've signed in a decade is just sitting there, all with a red shirt, just ready to roll. You know what I mean? So I think linebacker might be deeper than safety.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think you're right because you said you have Billy, Peyton, RSJ, and
Eric McCarty's back.
Yeah, but he's playing unproven. I mean, who's that fourth guy? If you want to throw Justin Harrington in there at the cheetah position, but again, we don't know what he's going to look like coming off injury. I feel like I'm missing somebody that's in that room because Daya left.
Me too. Yeah, this is going to bug me. Pete Shue, he's a safety.
Who?
Pete Shue, our New Jersey Sooner.
Who
am I? Jaden, he's been dealing with shoulder injuries. He hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Jaden Rowe. Yeah, we don't have anybody else proven. It's those three.
They've been trying to get him to play at corner.
Yeah.
Valai really wants him at corner.
It's those three, and then you have at linebacker. You have, like you said, Stutzman. You have Jaron Kanek, Kobe McKenzie, Kip Lewis, Desan McCullough, Phil
I mean,
Picardi.
Kendall Dolby is technically brought in as a safety,
Okay, I see.
but he played a lot of cheetah.
Yeah. So I mean, hey,
He can play it back there.
Trav,
Makari Vickers was brought
Who?
in as a safety.
Oh, Makari, yeah. And he got some time at cornerback this year. He looked good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Makari was back there. We had him on the show. Hey, all right, we about to head out, y'all. But I need to say this. I need to say this because I don't think I brought this up yet on the show because I did. It would have been too soon. So y'all know how I was in San Antonio for the Alamo Bowl, right? I kid you not, bro. Like it's 2:33 p.m. of game day. And me and my wife, or not me and my wife, sorry, me and my mom are walking on the Riverwalk. Okay. Jalil Farouk is walking by himself with a hood up, head down. I'm sure he's getting locked in, whatever. But I was just confused because I was like, it's kind of close to like, I mean, I know the game don't start till 8, but like, are y'all supposed to be out right? Like that was in my head. I was like, are y'all supposed to be out right now? Like, and he was just by himself. And I don't know if he was trying to blow some steam off or whatever. But like, I was like staring at him, and then I go, what up, Root? Like I said, what up? He goes, what's up? And passed me. I looked at my mom and said, that's Jalil Farouk. What is he doing out right now? I was like, ain't he supposed to be somewhere in a hotel, ready to be locked in? And then lo and behold, like I was like, I'm not gonna think nothing of it. It's not that deep. And my mom was like, no, like he shouldn't be out. He should be with the team, getting his mind right. Lo and behold, later that night,
2 fumbles.
the man has 2 fumbles. And I texted Travis when I saw him. And then I texted Travis literally after the game. And I was like, yo, I didn't want it to be true, but I felt like it was just bad juju. But yeah, so.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, you text me. It was, he said at 2:49 p.m.
Yep.
Just past Jalil casually walking the Riverwalk. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to have a big spring, man. He's going to lose his starting job if he doesn't.
You're absolutely right because their room is deep. We too deep. OU. That's how it is. But, all right, y'all. Well, we appreciate it. Appreciate y'all who've been here. Hit that like button. Thanks for those who are coming. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, continue to share. Talk about the show. Again, you guys know in the off season we typically have guests on here in some capacity, whether it's other fellow student podcasters, friends of the show, sometimes recruits or players. I'm sure we'll have some in the works for y'all for the spring, but appreciate you guys' support and everything. Remember, go to righteousfelon.com or use some beef jerky so you can support them, support Travis as well. Trav, you got anything for the people?
No. I appreciate everybody coming through. Again, like, comment, subscribe. I think we're almost like 1,000 followers on Twitter. That's crazy.
We're like 50 away, I think.
That's so weird to me.
Yeah.
We don't even tweet from it.
We don't. We really don't.
we need to tweet. We need to tweet more from that. They're probably all bots.
Yeah.
Or recruits. Jeez. Yeah, no, that's all. I appreciate you all for being here, as always, taking time out of your guys' busy schedules. And we'll see you next week.
Yep. Boomer.